Hello, everyone. It's time for Blocktalk. I'm Rosie O'Donnell, and I'm here with Donald Trump.
Hey everybody, I'm Donald Trump, and this is my favorite person in the world, Rosie O'Donnell, over here beside me.
Oh yeah, grand old time. All right, well let's get on track here. So we're on Bitcoin block 387711.
Wow.
And we have a couple sponsors. Gembucks, coolest altcoin around. They build lots of cool tools like this one you might be seeing here. Getgembucks.com/wisdom. And then we also have Coinigy. Coinigy helps you get past all those meddlesome websites that always seem to be going down, and you go straight to the APIs for every market you want.
Oh, that's great.
Sign up today at coinigy.com/blocktalk and help refer the show. And let's
introduce our beautiful guests.
Yeah, all right. So first off, we have Sean Wilkinson.
Hey, Sean.
Hello, everyone.
Sean, where are you?
So I'm currently in Atlanta right now.
Wow.
But it's nice.
That's great. I love Atlanta. Who else do we have?
So we have Amanda B. Johnson from the Daily Decrypt.
Oh, crazy. There's a lady in crypto? This is so good. Nice to see you.
Hi.
Hi. Oh, we got to show me, too. There we go.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
And then finally, we have Theo Goodman, the OG from Whale Club TeamSpeak, World Crypto Network,
Wow.
and also the creator of the Sound Wallet.
No way.
Hey, what's up? Nice to
Hey.
be on. Thanks for
Glad to
having
have
me.
you guys.
Yeah. Theo, where are you from?
I'm in Frankfurt, Germany.
Oh,
We're
that's
worldwide.
amazing. That is so amazing. Congratulations. The red light district is outstanding, from what I hear. Wink, wink. Nudge, nudge. And Amanda, where are you? Amanda, where are you at?
I'm in New Hampshire.
Oh, isn't that interesting?
New Hampshire.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Sweet. Awesome.
All right. So we'll go back to Sean in Vancouver to tell us, or not Vancouver,
Atlanta,
sorry, to tell us about, I guess, boasting probably one of the more network-intensive applications out there, but for good reason. You guys have got, what is it, 1.5 petabytes of data running now?
Yeah, so it's about 1.5 petabytes. I'll actually pull up the stats here now and read off the exact numbers. But yeah, we set 3 goals kind of at the beginning of test group B, 100 gigabytes, 100 terabytes, and 1 petabyte, and we blew through those pretty quickly, all 3 of them in about a month. So we're maxed out here about 1.55 petabytes and 435 users.
Oh, wow.
On the supply side of the network, and so we're getting pretty close to doing the next test group, which will test more networking and bandwidth and latency and all the other fun stuff. But on the capacity side, we've got a lot. I think this is worth anywhere from $100,000 to $150,000 on Amazon S3 in and out. So for a month. So it's a decent amount of storage.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty sexy.
So when I was poking around, I discovered your Slack yesterday, and yeah, there are new people joining. It seems like every half hour looking to install the new program and capitalize on their hard drives.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I'm gonna say the support was amazing, yeah.
Yeah, so our Slack we got about 3,000 people in there last time I checked. So it's one of the largest Bitcoin Slacks, and we put a pretty heavy emphasis on community. So if you have a question, there's like 10 people in there at any time zone at any time to help you out. And then anything else, we can take. So we have a little GUI that makes it really easy to run, but sometimes people are running on crazy systems or Raspberry Pis and need a little help solving issues. So that's always a great place to go for support.
So I noticed you guys have a lot of like 25 terabyte miners going on right now. So that's I guess pretty large arrays, maybe some data centers going on.
Yeah, so we've capped it kind of artificially at 25 terabytes. So yeah, there's a couple of people who have large amounts of storage on there. So But there's a whole swath of users, people sharing everywhere from 1 gigabyte to 25 terabytes. So all different hardware. Some people are running in data centers and servers. Some people are just running on their computers at home.
Okay, so you guys are currently in the last phase of testing. You got 1 million storage coins coming out, and that's added to the 44 million that is currently in circulation, correct?
Right. So we have about 1 million storage coins slated for test group B, which is currently running and currently being distributed to, we don't call them miners, we call them farmers in our network. And so that's being currently distributed to farmers on about a monthly basis. We're trying to push it, do some automation, push it to every 2 weeks. No TM on that, no puns. Actually every 2 weeks. And so we'll have some extra rewards on top of that when we get into test group C. And so that's why we're actually doing a hangout on the 17th to talk more directly with the community on what they want rewarded and how that should go and how that should be monitored, those kinds of things. So it was pretty funny. We did test group A, which was unrewarded, and we had about 18% uptime of users on the network. And when we added just a little bit of rewards in there, that jumped up to about 82, 83% uptime. So pretty significant improvement between non-rewarded and rewarded. So we definitely want to throw some nice, decent rewards down for our users for helping us test and getting us really good, useful data.
Cool. So are you guys planning on remaining a counterparty asset, or will the network eventually be hosting its own token?
So we're kind of looking at various different options, what scales, what doesn't scale. So we're evaluating, a bunch of different options on what makes sense.
Cool. So I guess, do we have any questions from our other panel members here?
Oh yeah,
I have a question.
Yeah, Theo, go ahead.
Hey, what's up? Thanks for coming on. I was just wondering, how do you guys? It's been going. This project is pretty old for crypto standards. Kind of, I mean, if you're over a year old in crypto standards, it's like 10 years or something. And
Absolutely.
So, how in the world are you guys, funding this thing with all the development?
Sure. So kind of the initial project, we did kind of a crowd sale so people could get early access and certain rewards to the software. And so that we raised about $500,000 from that. So that kind of funded initial development for the project. And then at a certain point in that, we said, okay, that's great for establishing kind of the base of the project, but what about taking it forward? How do we get this decentralized storage into consumers' hands, businesses' hands, developers' hands? And you really can't do that with an open source project. So we founded a company called Storj Labs on top of that. And its core goal is to act something like a BitPay or a Coinbase, like BitPay and Coinbase acts to Bitcoin, where you just link a bank account, you click a button, you can buy some Bitcoin, or if you're a merchant, I want to accept Bitcoin, I don't have to go through all these hoops. I just sign up for BitPay, I create an invoice, ta-da, I get money in my bank account. They really make the inroads to Bitcoin quite easy. And so we want to do that same thing for storage. Is we have this company that says, okay, you want to use storage, you don't need to know anything about crypto or Bitcoin or all this other stuff. All you do is sign up, swipe your card, buy 10 gigabytes off the network, and we take care of all the rest. So we really built a business around that, and that's been funded independently.
Okay, great. That's cool. Didn't you guys win the Texas Hackathon in 2014 or 2013 or something like that?
Yeah, so we won the Texas Bitcoin Hackathon in, I think that was 2014. And we were promised, I guess, $250,000 for that, and it never never materialized really.
Okay,
So
great.
that
So
sucks.
yeah, it
But,
sucks. That's why I was asking, because I was like, why didn't they win that big prize? That's great, because
well,
then you can
I
just
think
go.
they wanted to give us to us in Mastercoin, and so I kind of looked at that and said, I don't know if that's the best deal for us.
Okay.
Mastercoin just worked out so well for MaidSafe. It's like
Yeah, so they did their crowd sale, and they raised $5 million in a couple hours, but half of it was in Mastercoin, which can't do anything with. So I'm glad we didn't take that deal.
okay. So let's see if Amanda, do you have any questions for the Storj team?
Can you hear me all right?
I'll type to her.
Oh, I can hear about half of what you're saying, but that's not your fault. You're highly articulate. It's actually my connection. I wasn't able to do Ethernet today, so apologies.
Oh no. Meshnet, Bitcoin powered Meshnet. That's what we need.
Is there a snowstorm in New Hampshire right now?
I know, right? I know. Tell me about it.
Okay. Well,
There's not right now, but when you...
so Amanda, I don't know. Yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to throw it in the chat or speak up. But I saw on the MetaDisk page you guys actually were charging for both.
Oh, yeah, I do have one question.
Yep.
Oh, good.
Yes, so the last I checked in with Storj's update was when you made the announcement that you had just reached, I don't remember if it was terabyte or petabyte level storages on the test network, which was so cool. And I guess I just wasn't sure yet. Are you still in testing, or have you launched publicly yet?
Yeah, so we're kind of still in testing, and we plan to kind of be in perpetual testing for kind of a while. There's lots of components, parts of the network, and so we kind of want to test each one individually. The first one was test group A, which was all about just getting software deployed out there, making sure it works, getting some initial numbers back in terms of reliability and redundancy. And then for test group B, we're just testing data capacity. How much data is out there on all these hard drives? And we got back a pretty solid number. So that's 1.5 petabytes. For people who aren't familiar with what a petabyte is, it's 1,000 terabytes. So we have about 1,500 terabytes running on the network right now. And then test group C is more about the transferring those files around, seeing how fast those connections are, problems with networking and firewalls and all those kinds of things. So pretty soon we're going to, on a very small scale, allow people to put data on our federated nodes and on the network. But we want to do that very incrementally. We don't want to just throw all this data in there and say, oops, we lost it, or there's an error with the network. We want to do that very slowly and learn from it as we go. So we have a very just do it live kind of mindset. We want to do that in a responsible manner.
Okay, cool. So you guys have MetaDisk kind of on your homepage, and I saw you actually have prices for both storage and bandwidth. So is that kind of funding also going towards sustaining the price of the storage coin?
Right. So we put out some initial pricing on there for people to look at. Our early pricing is determined by the industry players are charging, for example, S3 is charging about 3 cents a gigabyte, and for storage per month, and about 9 cents per gigabyte for transfer. So we're just taking kind of the industry standard prices and cutting them in half. And so part of those proceeds are going directly to the farmers who are actually maintaining some of that data as the network grows.
So,
what? Oh, go on.
Since Metadisk has the option for bandwidth, will the users eventually be able to choose what bandwidth they can supply along with what data?
Right. So right now it's just how much data do you want to provide. But as we roll out the test group C client, you'll have more options in terms of do you want to limit that? Do you want it maximum tilt? Like what do you want those options to be? That will be included when we actually release the test group C client.
Okay. All right. Theo, you had a question as well?
Oh yeah. What determines the total supply of storage coins? I'm just trying to figure it out from a farmer point of view, how I can figure out, it's similar to mining. How can I figure out my profitability? And that's of course going to put pressure on the price if there's a lot of people farming because they got to sell. So you have a similar, but what determines the total supply, and how does that all work so that people are still motivated to store stuff?
Sure. So we have a bit of a different kind of economics to farming relative to mining. For mining, it's a lot easier to calculate because you're just going off an algorithm. You're going off of difficulty, all those kinds of things. Those you can crunch some statistics and get about how much you're going to earn. For our network, it's a lot more relative to other people because we see storage as more of a marketplace than just kind of a mining algorithm. So let's say someone else in the network can provide storage faster and cheaper than you, then they're going to get more money than you are. So it's relative to other users. So there's
if I have a really, sorry to interrupt, if I have a slow, old kind of storage, like maybe some old disks here, can I offer those for cheap, and then my orders would get filled if someone just wants to store a document and they don't care how fast?
Yeah, so that's the idea, is that if you have a kind of a slow dial-up connection PC, maybe that might be really, really good for some kind of archival data, right? And so that would be at a lower price point. But if, let's say you have a super fast Google Fiber connection, then you're going to, be making a lot of money because you can transfer a lot of files around, and that's going to be at a different price point. And so it's really between kind of the network and the users to decide how that works, and that's really decided by the marketplace. Now, in terms of kind of the economics of coin supply, there is no new coins being generated like more traditional platforms. So the current economics is that even people who aren't necessarily understand crypto, they can participate and use this software in this network. So if, for example, someone goes on the website, buys $10 worth of storage, around 60% of that is going to go directly into the farmer. So we buy storage coins off the market or acquire them via other means, and then that would be distributed to the farmers. Versus a more inflationary approach where those are just created out of thin air for mining. Those are actually being matched within someone actually buying a service. So the economics work out a lot better on our network than just you're mining for coins that are created out of thin air.
Okay, cool. That sounds really interesting.
So in regards to efficiency, so the way like BitTorrent works, they break up the data into hashes. Do you guys have any way of like recognizing similar hashes or identical hashes to basically prevent duplicate data from being stored?
So for it depends on kind of your use case. So if you are, and there's also security concerns as well. So if you're uploading a cat picture, a funny cat picture, then it's all right if there's a duplicate copy on the network, and so you can just have a couple copies, redundant copies, And it doesn't matter that there's multiple copies of that cat picture. There's a privacy aspect that if I know if you upload that file and it's the same as the one that I have, then I know what file you have. So if you're uploading a top secret document, you don't want to identify that as a duplicate, right? You don't want to be able to say, hey, he uploaded that file, it's the same as mine. Now I know what file you have. So in the case of public files, we can do a scheme called a convergent encryption, so that if there's 2 on the network, then we'll just go to 1. And that's fine for public files. If it's a cat picture, it's a funny JPEG, something like that, that's fine. For private files, you actually you don't want that to happen. You want to add a little extra data on your side, and so that is not the exact same copy that's on the network for someone else. So they can't identify that duplicate file is your top secret file, whatever. So there's situations where that makes sense, and there's situations where that doesn't. It's around privacy, really.
Okay. Any questions from the group?
Yeah, I have a question. It's pretty theoretical. Unfortunately, I haven't played with your marketplace yet, so I guess it would probably be easier if I just did that. But I'll just ask a theoretical question, because I'm always thinking about how can I game that thing, and maybe people have tried it. So if I understand correctly, if there's less fast storage available, then theoretically the price for it would go up, right?
So you're saying if there's less fast storage available?
Yeah. Well, I'm alluding to, I'm just saying, what if I just wash traded my own storage? So I've got like 2 data centers, and I'm a big provider, and I just make sure I'm really selling it to myself, but I'm just doing that in order to make sure that the price stays above a certain level. Because if I just offered all of mine, then I might not make very much. Do you see what I'm saying? Like a kind of...
Right. So the difference is that this is kind of a difference from some other decentralized storage network, is that you're not getting paid by a network, which is just saying, oh, you're storing X amount of data, let me reward you. That data could be a complete garbage. You could just be storing data on yourself. The difference is that someone on the other side of that is actually paying for that. So if you were to just send storage to yourself, you'd just be losing money, because you'd be paying other people for that. You'd be paying network fees, all that kind of stuff. So there's really no benefit to that. And in terms of fast storage, it's all additive. So you could take a bunch of dial-up connections, and they would add up to a really fast connection, because on a peer-to-peer network, it's all additive. So it doesn't matter if this guy has a super fast connection and this one has a slow connection. All together, they make a super fast connection. So I think there's a question here in the chat about, let me try to read it here, about big company signups. Is that the question?
Oh, I think Amanda actually had a question first.
I don't think I can hear.
Hey, Sean, I have a question for you.
I can hear you. All right. Go ahead.
You can, okay.
Okay, she's delayed.
I was wondering if file retrieval using Storj could or would ever support like streaming level speeds.
Yeah, definitely. That's something that we're kind of thinking out and trying to build out. But this has already been demonstrated many, many times before. If you look at stuff like BitTorrent streaming and other peer-to-peer networks, if you've used popcorn time, you've seen this in the works. So it's just a matter of kind of twisting the implementation to add in the Bitcoin aspects and the encryption aspects in our network. But it's already been proven, it's already been done. It's just we have to look at those libraries and see how we can implement them in Storj. But yes, that is a very key focus, is to be able to support streaming media. get your
Excellent.
Netflix faster from storage.
Well, thanks for that question, Amanda. I understand if you have to go, but we appreciate you joining us today. And for everyone watching at home, make sure you check out the Daily Decrypt for weekday news on everything altcoin and Bitcoin related and some cool tech. Yeah, we're happy to have you, Amanda. Thanks for coming.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. So my last question was, yeah, big company signups. Have you guys had some big names? Like I thought I heard an Amazon name drop earlier, so I was curious. Yeah, if you had some big storage companies or.
So we have some big use cases, and we do have kind of large corporates that we're talking to and entering pilot programs, but I can't disclose those names. We're under NDA, so I wish I could, but unfortunately, yeah.
All right. Well,
those will come out with time.
Well, we were looking very forward to it. So, building off of what Theo mentioned earlier, if someone is always buying and someone's on the receiving end of that buy, you guys are only at 10% of the storage coin ever created. How is that rest of it going to be distributed?
Yeah, so that's kind of as the term stated in the crowd sale document. So some of that is entering the market through paying developers. Some have opted to receive, full payment in storage coins. The other thing is supporting test groups. So, for example, all the test group B rewards come from that. Then kind of looking to some larger projects as we get further in the test groups. So, for example, we want to get a lot of data on the network initially. You got to bootstrap it, right? You have a marketplace with users on it, just storing data, but newer customers gonna want to see it working first before you're gonna throw your whole company and your whole data on there. So our real thought is having the community select us, help us select data, like all of archive.org, all of YouTube, kind of mass data sources that we can put into the network and then use those tokens to pay for. So those are really for the test groups and bootstrapping the network is what that's been set aside for, and that's been detailed kind of in the crowd sale terms from last year.
Any more questions, Theo?
Hold on. What if terrorists store files in storage?
So for that, once you go down the censorship route, you go down a very slippery slope.
Yeah.
So our solution to that has been essentially opt-in gray lists. So someone wants to store an ISIS beheading video or any kind of crazy stuff on there. It's essentially a process where someone identifies that content. So by default, all content on the network is encrypted. You just get an encrypted chunk. You have no idea what that black box is. But if someone decides to expose the decryption keys to that piece of file, a user can put it essentially on a gray list. So you can say, okay, this is an ISIS video. Let me put it on the ISIS gray list. And then the users themselves opt into those gray lists. And so they can say, okay, I don't like ISIS. I click this list, and it will automatically remove any content that's in that list. And so I trust the curators to use that list appropriately. Now, the trick is that it's opt-in. The users have full control. So what the MIA or some other copyright institution might like to do is start sticking their copyrighted movies into the ISIS list, so those are dropped automatically. But since these are opt-in lists, the users can change them. They can say, that's not a valid list anymore. Let me go to another list. So the users have full control and choice over what content they don't want to store after it's been exposed. Versus storage labs or us coming down and say, this content is bad, this content is bad. That's just not the way to do it. The user should have full choice on what content they think is right for them. And so it really goes into like, if I'm a United States user, I am going to opt into the DMCA list, and it's going to drop all those shards. But if I'm in the Netherlands, like that might not apply to me. So it's going to be different for everyone. Let everyone choose.
Okay, great.
So yeah, I like the sounds of that self-governance for farming. My old man
Absolutely.
would be happy with that.
Oh, yeah.
Right, because once you go down the censorship road, you just go down a slippery slope, and the whole thing falls apart. So giving the users a choice is the best compromise.
So have you guys had any like regulatory issues, like government figures coming towards you and saying, "What are you building here?"
Not really. I mean, at the end of the day, we're storing data. Do regulators try to regulate Dropbox? I mean, not that much. So I think we're just trying to offer a data service, and that's a lot different from someone like Coinbase or BitPay. That's really handling more of the monetary sides of things. We're just handling data here.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you guys are definitely classifying yourselves in more of a utility sort of scenario.
Right.
Can I ask Theo some questions? No?
We can keep it brief.
Yeah. Hey Theo, I don't know much about you. Can you tell us what you've been thinking about lately? What are you working on today?
What am I working on today?
Yeah.
Me?
Yeah, you. I want to know what you're working on.
I work for Hass Online. We make trade bots.
Whoa.
I'm working with them a lot, and I'm doing a show once a week, Bitcoin Technical Analysis. It's on World Crypto Network. So I guess those are the two main projects that I'm working on right now. Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm working on.
That's awesome. And I have one more question for him. So, like, what's your favorite? What's the most exciting thing? You know, before you go to bed and you only got 5 minutes left to read, what is the thing that you're really interested in right these days?
Before I go to bed, what
Well, you know what I mean. Like, you know, when you got like no time left in your day, but you want to read one more thing before you go to bed. It's usually your favorite thing. What's your favorite thing that you're interested in these days?
That's a good question. Hard to say. I also make music, so maybe I'm working on a song, or
Nice.
something like that, or I'm watching. Well, it depends. I gotta catch up on the last episode of The Ultimate Fighter. So I watch. I'm an MMA fan. Watch some sports. So probably I'm staying up to watch the end of the football game or something like that. Or something like that. So yeah, lately I've been into watching sports, and there's three UFC cards coming up this weekend, so that's pretty full weekend of fights. That should be really good.
Yeah.
I have one question for Theo.
Yeah. Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're trying to take a lot of feedback on kind of how this market should work. It's a little different economically than most Bitcoin networks where you have like mining and all that kind of stuff. So you have a little experience with trade bots and trading. Do you have any suggestions for us on how we should kind of build this marketplace? We have users on one side who are purchasing storage space, and we have to go take that through the market to go purchase storage coins. So if we're getting $100,000 to go provide storage, now we have to go grab $60,000 worth of storage coin off the market. How should that be done so it's the most fair for users, and so it's not like this every day?
Yeah. Well, that's kind of difficult to do. I mean, I guess technically, you can connect up with the APIs of the exchanges where you're sourcing the coins, and then buy them like that. I mean, the issue is there's not a lot of volume on the exchanges, so then you get those things. So, I mean, what you could try to do, I don't know that there is enough volume that it makes a whole lot of sense, but it might work, is just drip the orders out. So space the orders out. So not, okay, I need to buy, suddenly someone, I don't know how much they're worth right now. Let's say I need to buy 10,000 storage coins and the average order is only 500. So if you send that order, it's going to make the price, it's going to be like a market order, and that's going to make the price go all nuts. Well, why don't you space that out over an hour or half hour, if possible, of ordering, and then maybe you could get a better average, just like averaging in. I mean, you're going to have to, in the end, what can help liquidity is more speculation. So, but with that, I was thinking in my mind, wouldn't it be really cool to have a Storj futures product that you can order but then the CFTC will come and say, hey, that's a derivative and you can't do that unless you do all this other stuff. So, but I think here it's a good example. I mean, farmers will benefit from futures. They use it as a type of insurance, and here is the same situation. So maybe there is a kind of workaround where it's not really a future, but it has some kind of thing like that. It has to be, but it has to be speculative, because speculators will make the market more liquid.
Right.
So I don't know. I would have to brainstorm how. Basically, your problem is not going to be solved unless there's more volume on those where you're sourcing the coins.
Right.
And there's going to be more volume. It's always the question of how to get more volume, and there's also discussion. Like I talked about wash storage, and you said that wouldn't work. Well, there's discussion in the market about wash trading. Now, why is wash trading interesting? Well, that's the whole fake it till you make it concept, because nobody wants to come to a party with no people. But if you just pay a bunch of people to come to the party, then more people will come. The same thing with the volume on that marketplace. You've got the same thing. You need more participants. I don't know. I think. Let me think. You do have incentives for people to get stored. Maybe if you come to Slack and help out in some projects, then you would earn Storj coins, and they're going to want to sell them. So I mean, if that increases, theoretically, that would increase the volume a little bit, right? You know what I mean? More. And I really like your idea of getting, quote, normal people, not just like crypto geeks involved. That's going to increase the volume too, because they're going to need. Right?
The thing that we're wrestling over is that for crypto markets, they're mostly back and forth, right? They're mostly speculative. There's actually not a need for the coin that you could do with just buying something with dollars. In Storj, there is the need for the coin to maintain the storage, and so unlike traditional markets where you buy some Litecoin and then you just hold them, in our network you need that every month. So we.
Yeah, well, that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, I see that now. Of course, you can use that. You can use it. Well, basically that coin. It is a type of future already in a way, because I'm speculating the price will go up. But I'm essentially speculating theoretically that the demand for storage on the Storj network will go up, and then I can sell it for a higher price. So the more people you guys on board, then theoretically the more volume there is in general. So maybe at the beginning I pay with Storj Labs. I use my credit card or whatever, and I sign up with BitPay. But then I get into it and I think, wait a minute, I heard if I go on Poloniex, I can save 10% if I'm really clever,
right.
Buying up. And when people figure that out, or there's a kind of arbitrage they can do or something like that, then the volume will increase. But that's just going to need a lot more volume, I think, because I think right now. I think the only simple thing I would say is that you could, if someone places a big order, that is pretty hard.
Cool.
Okay, yeah.
Well, that was great, guys. I think you guys should probably hook up after the show, and maybe you can work out some deals for some new markets. I guess we can kind of wrap up, unless, Theo, you have any more questions.
No, that's cool. Thanks for having me, and it was really interesting. I think it's a cool project, and I'm really glad that it still exists, to be honest. I mean, I know that, because, let's be honest, a lot of projects and a lot of coins and stuff like that come and go in this market.
Yeah, they don't last, so... Thankfully, we've been blessed to be around, and we've been working hard. So things are starting to happen. We're starting to launch out drive share and metadist stuff, but there's a lot of our fallen comrades by the wayside.
Yeah, I gotta say, it's been one I've watched since the beginning. I participated in the crowd sale, and I even know a couple guys who are considered more Bitcoin purists. This was the only
The question is, are you farming right now?
Yeah, I have it farming at home. I'm sure I'm gonna get a hefty internet bill for my bandwidth, but yeah.
We don't use too much bandwidth right now, and we'll make sure there's limitations in there when we do start using it, so we don't get a bunch of angry people. My Comcast bill is like 3 times more than it should be. Don't want to have that. So.
Okay. So I don't know if you want to do a quick demo for us, or else we can kind of wrap up the show with some price predictions.
I think people should just try it for themselves. Just go to driveshare.org.
It's very simple to use, and I think
you literally enter 3 forms and hit a button. It couldn't be simpler.
All right, so we'll go around and ask, since my screen doesn't seem to be working today, I'll enter this and share it afterwards. But we like to predict the price of Bitcoin for the next show, just to see, do a innuendo sort of prediction market here. So I guess we'll go around and say, what's the price of Bitcoin going to be next Thursday at 7?
I think it's probably anywhere between 450 to 500. I'll just go in the middle of 475.
475. All right.
Crystal ball.
Now, Theo.
Oh, I had to look at a chart. Okay. Next Thursday, in exactly a week's time. I think that, let's see, I think that we'll go up there and hit, let's see, I'm going to go with 450.
Whoa.
450. Ooh, Super Bowls. Freddie, what are you thinking?
In 1 week?
Does anyone ever go down?
Well, yeah, we're
see,
in a trending market right now.
Yeah.
We are in a bull market, but I think I'm feeling that, I'm feeling 2 things: the Christmas buys, right? But I'm also feeling a general bull market. But I'm also feeling like right now a time for a bit of a sobering, because everybody's been so on it for the last little while. So I'm going to say same price next week, 416-ish, 420-ish, 416.
416?
Yeah, I'll say 416.
All right.
That's just what I'm going to say, because I don't know anything.
I've been notoriously bearish, but I haven't been shorting, so it's not like it's hurting me much. But I'm going to say 375.
Wow.
Yeah, I think we need a little bit of correction, just a small one, because we're terribly overbought right now. But I'm really interested to see how this whole Dr. Wright thing plays out. The Wired Magazine so-called Satoshi. Do you guys want to close with some thoughts on that?
Poor guy.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. It's like, for the first Satoshi, they were just like, reporters ran all over his house and just ruined his life. And the second guy, like 5 hours after the article, they're raiding his house.
Yeah.
So it's just not good to be even a fake Satoshi at this point.
You know what's crazy? What's crazy is that back in the 70s, they were raiding rock and roll stars' house for like drugs, and now they're raiding like nerds for data and
oh, how the times have changed.
You know what I mean? It's just so weird. It's like the frickin' Lenin bust, but it's frickin' some guy who created Bitcoin, maybe. You know what I mean? It's just so weird.
I better like lock up my Pokemon cards or something like that. Maybe look up for that too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it matters who Satoshi is, and I hope people get over the whole cult of personality thing. But the media is going to media, and they're struggling to remain. It's great clickbait. I mean, it's genius. You're like, oh yeah, we got to run something about Bitcoin. Okay, here's something we can say, and I'm sure they got their clicks. They got their.
It's either drugs, ISIS, and terrorists. Or Satoshi Nakamoto.
Donald Trump.
Now, if you can just combine all those 3 into one article, you're good.
Dude,
Yeah.
we should write like a book of the week.
Yeah, well, I think that I don't know if some people are. I think the yuan devaluation is also fueling a little bit of this Bitcoin buying. I mean, no one knows for sure, but a little
Yeah.
bit. And I think that's going to be. Let's see what happens in 1 week's time. After the Fed talks, and we got some more devaluation. Let's see what happens. It should be pretty interesting.
I think that's a very good point, actually.
I think the silver lining with this whole Satoshi story is they're the largest privately owned supercomputer in the world is owned by a Bitcoin developer. So that in itself is amazing news.
Yeah.
Regardless of if they Satoshi or not, I think that's some serious
Gear.
and brain power that we got going.
Yeah, what are those things worth, supercomputers?
Wait a minute, but how much? Well, you'd have to have storage with it, but I was wondering how much you could earn if you hooked it up. If you would just rule the network or something if you hooked it up to you guys.
Like, I wonder how much RAM a supercomputer would have. Like, probably at least 8 gigs, right?
Well, he could be mining Ether right now and be doing pretty well, I think.
Yeah, good for him. Cool. Hey, these guys were great.
Yeah, this was a great show, guys. Thanks so much for coming. Sean, the project looks awesome, and I look forward to hearing from you in the future again.
Yeah, man.
All right. Until next time.
And Theo, yeah, it's been great talking with you. I hope to have you on the show again as well.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Just get in touch. Thanks a lot.
Also, yeah, I didn't even know who you. I mean, pardon me, Theo. I'm all over the map. I'm driving all over the map all the time. But I just now know who you are, and you're a fascinating gentleman, just like Sean. These are two great guys. I'm glad, and it's a pleasure now. I get to discover another person to get perspectives from. It's great. It was a great show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And thank you to Amanda from the Daily Decrypt, and finally, thank you to World Crypto Network. You should be seeing this episode on their YouTube channel later today. So if you're watching it now, whatever time it is, please thumbs up wherever you see it first. And we look forward to doing more.
And I hope none of us get raided in the meantime. All right, guys. Keep your nose clean.
Okay.
We'll talk to you later.
Yeah, see you in
All
the
right.
next
Talk to you later. Thanks.
Ciao.